We're Jonathan and Jennifer, helping you find your well-traveled life. Djupivogur lies on the very far eastern side of Iceland. It's quite rural, has glaciers, a huge national park, and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. With a population of only 456 people, it is a really small port. It is a tender port, so you'll need to come in by the ship's lifeboats. It is known for its canyons, waterfalls, and volcanoes. In fact, there are 10 volcanoes, 8 of which are underneath glaciers. The last volcanic eruption was in 2010. It spread ash throughout most of Europe and stopped flights and was really a significant eruption. They have been trading since the 1500s, so there is a long history of folks being here. And as you first exit the tender port, you will find the eggs of Mary Bay. And these are 34 egg sculptures on small pedestals. They represent 34 bird species known to the area. Once you get outside of the city, and city is a term we're using loosely here, you will find the Vestrahorn Valley, which is the valley of the waterfalls. There's also the Hengifoss Glacier, which is part of the Vatnajokull National Park. And that is the huge glacier that covers 14% of Iceland and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. There are ice caves as well. We went up to Stokksnes, which is a rocky viewpoint. I think the fun part of Djupivogur is it is so small, you are here for nature. We took 4x4 trucks and vans that locals own. These aren't real tour companies as much as they are people who get called upon to help out if there are enough passengers to take on a trip. Our vehicle fit 6 people, and we started out with a coastal drive that took us through the valley and along the rocky coast. You'll see black sand beaches, golden sand beaches, and then you'll just see rocky outcroppings and lava formations right on the coast or coming out of the water. They took us then about an hour and a half out into the canyons, where we were able to 4-wheel drive into areas that would have taken quite a while to hike. The terrain was really rocky and shaly and hard to walk in and climb in because the rock just slid so much beneath your feet. But we got to a gorgeous clear river and were able to see the incredible colors because of the minerals in the ground that are brought up through the water. We then climbed higher in our vehicles up to the lava formations and up through a really dicey canyon. We went to a waterfall, clear, fresh, cold water, perfect for dipping your toes or taking a drink, literally right out of the stream. We took an incredibly narrow path, and path, I use that word loosely as well, up to the top of this rocky outcropping. We were able to hike up a little farther from there for tremendous views out over the entire valley and coastline below. We had a gorgeous sunny day, so we were able to see for miles and miles. We actually came in the fog. We were blowing our foghorn every 3 minutes as we entered the port. As we were beginning our tender, we were unable to actually see land until we came right up to it. But don't let that stop you. That's a known phenomenon on this side of the island. You get those early morning fogs and then they will burn off over time. We ended up having just a spectacular day, so I wouldn't change a thing about the weather. If you are there for longer and you can take the time to make these hikes on your own, there's some terrific camping and hiking in this area. But with just one day in port, we did take the 4x4s and found that to be an easier way to make sure we could see everything we wanted to see. From the bottom of the canyon where the mountain river runoff is coming down into these beautiful, clean, clear rivers, up to the top of the canyons where you are getting these incredible rock formations. So you went from this shale-like slag almost to these great lava monstrosities. It's an amazing geology here. After getting up to the top, we drove back down and around and went to see a waterfall. And it is one of those fabulous Icelandic waterfalls where you can actually go behind the waterfall. So you can see my view from behind the waterfall, and you can see Jonathan's view of me from in front of the waterfall. It's in another lovely valley and with a Batman mountain in the background. Again, we had such clear weather that our drivers were telling us we really had a spectacular day, and that isn't always quite that bright, and the visibility isn't always as good as we had it. But if you are looking for Iceland's pristine nature and the volcanic activity and aftermath, this port is for you. This is not a shopping port. This is a port to get out and go see other parts of Iceland up and down the coast and slightly inland. But it's a completely different view of what you're going to get in either the north or the south or even the west. Iceland is a big enough island. Its terrain and geology changes in each of its regions. We were here for clean water, breathtaking mountains, canyons, and the joy of being in nature's wonderland. On our drive, we were treated to a herd of reindeer grazing near us. That was really a treat. You'll see sheep grazing throughout Iceland, but to have the reindeer free foraging was also really exceptional. Make sure and watch our other videos on Iceland. We cover Reykjavik in the south, Akureyri in the north, and in the west we have Ísafjörður and Grundarfjörður.